Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live. Tonight is episode 45. Episode 45, and we have a really awesome show for you. We have Tori Miller. She's a singer, songwriter, guitarist. She's from season 19 of NBC's hit show The Voice, and she was on Team Gwen. So very excited to bring her in the room and chat with her. So I start each show with a song lyric, and Tori just hopped in the room. So once I bring Tori in the room, I'm going to share the song lyric. So Tori, if you just want to invite yourself in the room, I'll bring you in and we will start this thing. Hi guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Hi Tori.
Ashley,
How's it going?
good. How are you?
Wonderful. I love the mood lighting behind you. Like the light and it's dark.
Yeah, there's some Christmas lights back there that I couldn't part with once.
I honestly didn't even know. I love it. Well, for those of you that are just joining, this is Tori Miller, singer, songwriter, guitarist. Most of you know her from season 19 of NBC's hit show The Voice. So Tori, thank you for spending your evening with me. I'm so honored.
Thank you so much for having me. This is the best way to spend a Monday.
I love it. So I actually start each show off with a song lyric. So because you were in the room, I wanted to bring you in, share my song lyric with you, and it's a song you've actually covered. So
Okay.
give me your take on it. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This is Fleetwood Mac's Dreams.
Mm.
Very popular song. Very popular song. Oh, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. They say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. You'll know.
I love it. Fleetwood Mac's is just one of my all-time favorite
I know.
bands. And also, I feel like that song has turned into like such a trendy, a trendy one for 2020 and going into 2021. So doesn't get much better, but they're just poetic. I feel like that's what I love about that song in particular too, is like there's so many different meanings to be extracted
Right.
from Mac. So
What does that song mean to you?
to me, so I love the first verse where it says, "Now here you go again, you say you want your freedom.
Right.
Am I to keep you down? Um, it's only right that you should play the way you feel it, so listen carefully to the sound." It's about, to me, feeling the freedom to make decisions, even though you know that the consequences may hurt, or, like just because you make a decision and it hurts doesn't mean that it's the wrong decision. And yeah, so at least in the beginning of that song, I've always loved kind of like that cryptic hidden meaning
Mm-hmm.
of finding your freedom in your dreams. So
I think that's beautiful. I think everybody needs to ingest that and be like, you just want to be free and do what makes you happy.
totally, it's the most important thing.
Of course, of course. Your mother was a singer and raised you on bluegrass. Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit more about your childhood. How old were you when you first got into music?
Oh man, there's like a picture of me floating around somewhere in daycare when I was probably like 4, I would say, and I found a karaoke machine, and yeah, one of the teachers took a photo of me like singing into the microphone, and I remember that being shortly after I saw my mom sing in a talent show, and like a local talent show in my hometown, and thinking I want to be like every little kid wants to be like their parents, or she was just that figure for me where I wanted to be exactly like my mom. So when she kind of birthed that passion for music in me, I just like hit the ground running. And I would say it was really around that time, like 3 or 4, where I just fell in love with performing, and any chance I could sing in front of people, I took it.
I love that. Does your mom still sing?
She does. She's like a closet singer now, but every once in a while, like my mom and dad are super into like camping,
Mm-hmm.
and actually right after I got off the show, I went and joined them out at the campground for a few days, and it was just like bluegrass country gathering every night of people jamming and playing. And that's, I've heard my mom sing in front of people in a while. It was like super magical to
Oh,
part of it.
amazing. Because with COVID and how everything just got so weird,
Yeah.
to have that gathering and it be music and people and camping and just good times,
Yeah.
right? I love it. I'm very interested to hear about you being a former rodeo queen. How did you get involved in this?
Yeah. So growing up, those were like the two things that um, meant the most to me were rodeo and music. And so my stepdad was like a semi-professional team roper. So he was like always on horses, and we always lived on land, and they've just always been around. And I loved the feeling of being on a horse, especially as a kid, and even as a 27-year-old now, it's like one of the greatest feelings in the world. And I guess I most recently was Miss Rodeo Arkansas, and that was in 2016. And that was just like a really unexpected detour that I took in my life, and ended up being such a gift to me, because I needed a break from music. I like needed to step back and kind of like maybe take a break from the performance aspect and really start to look inward and be like, okay, what do I believe? How do I want to live my life?
Mhm.
What are the things that are important to me? And kind of it just made sense to return to those roots of like the country and horses and all that stuff. So my parents were like, why don't you just like run for a rodeo queen title? You can be a representative for rodeos in Arkansas. That's essentially what Miss Rodeo Arkansas does. So I was like, yeah, let's go for it. And I ran in a preliminary pageant and lost. And I was like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. And then 2 weeks later was like, no, I can't take no for an answer. I've got to try again. So I tried again for a bigger rodeo this time. And it was just meant to be. It was fated. I won the preliminary and went on to Miss Rodeo Arkansas thinking this is going to be such a cool experience, but there's just like, there's no way I'm going to come out with the title. And one thing led to another, and just like kept finding success in all the different categories of the competition and ended up winning the whole thing. So then I spent the next year just traveling as Miss Rodeo Arkansas and making tons of friends from all over the country, and ran for Miss Rodeo America in
Mhm.
the end of 2016. So it was such a cool experience. I feel like it helped ground me a lot, just in who I am, where I come from.
Hmm. Very cool. And thank you for sharing, because when I heard about Rodeo Queen, I honestly had no idea what it was. And I had to Google it because I was like, I've never heard of it and I felt bad. And I was
That
so cool though, like
It's
because
awesome.
it's kind of like a beauty pageant, but for rodeos, right?
Yeah, essentially. So it's like we always say that a rodeo queen pageant is just like a beauty pageant, except the talent portion is taken out and replaced with horsemanship. So you
Mhm.
just get on a random horse
Yeah,
that they've provided, and you make it do what you're asked to do. So
I love it. It's so cool.
great. Sure.
What's your creative process like?
I feel like it varies depending on what season I'm in. When I first started really like digging my heels into songwriting, um, I was probably 10 or 11,
Mhm.
and I would just have like these spurts of lyrics that I thought sounded super cool together, and I knew two chords on the guitar, and so I was like, I just have to turn this into something. And one thing that I've always loved about country music and bluegrass in particular is that it's a storytelling genre.
Mhm.
And so since I was little, if something impactful happened to me, my most natural response was to just write a song about it and tell that story. So, yeah, that's honestly, I guess it hasn't changed too much foundationally in that if I'm moved by something, I typically want to write down everything that I can remember about it, and try and turn it into poetry and look for those windows of like, how can I communicate what I've experienced without just explicitly saying like, I fell in love, or I had my heart broken or whatever. Like what was I seeing during that time? And imagery is super important to me. So I guess it just always starts with the lyrics.
Hmm.
And if there's a melody that turns out to match that mood,
Hmm.
I just embrace it and welcome it and invite inspiration into my life every day.
I think that's so important because inspiration can come in so many different forms, right? You could be watching TV, you could be listening to Fleetwood Mac, you could be taking a walk around your neighborhood, and you could just be like, I heard the birds chirp, and all of a sudden, something came to me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, and even just like watching movies is a new thing I've been introduced to with
Mhm.
that I met from the show. It's like you can find creative process as long as your mind is like open and turned on to the idea of that happening at any point. It's really everywhere.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a beautiful thing to just kind of like welcome creativity in and let it do its thing.
I love that. Now, do you write every day?
Oh man, I have to say that lately I feel like I was just telling someone this the other day that I feel like I've dropped the ball because there was such a point in my life and another gift that the show gave me, and I know a lot of the other artists there too, is that like isolated environment where I was just stuck in a hotel room, and so it was just natural every day I was writing,
Yeah.
and I tried to write at least a chorus a day, or even if it's just like two stanzas of something that I think's beautiful or whatever. I try and write something every day.
Yeah.
Lately, it's been like a bit more when the mood strikes, I'll just like spend 2 hours and try and crank out a song.
Mhm.
Yeah, I try my best to write as often as possible.
I love that. And yeah, you guys were quarantined like in hotel rooms, which is
Yeah,
absolutely bigger than
sorry.
all the other seasons because it's like, how do you even really vibe with the people that are on your season? And then it's like you can't get next to people.
Totally. It was such an interesting experience because like when they told us um hey, we're doing everything we can to keep you guys safe, and that's going to mean you all staying in your hotel rooms like 99% of the time. And you'll get to like cross paths. Now I have some of my best friends in the world that I made from that show, but I think about the first times I met them in like the most weird circumstances, like in wardrobe, walking down a hall. It's like, oh, what's up? I'm Tori. And then one of my funniest stories to describe that time is now Jim Ranger, who
Hmm.
was runner up. He was like my hotel neighbor, and
Uh-huh.
all leading up to the blind auditions, you know, it sounded like adult choir camp. You could just hear everybody singing their songs from the room, and we were all put on like one floor together. And I heard Jim Ranger sing Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban like a million times. And
Yeah.
I told everybody that would listen, like, that dude's gonna win. I don't know who that is, but he's incredible. I've listened to like this song completely formed for him. It's just been like a running joke. Now he's such a dear friend, but it's like, I called it. I heard you through the hotel.
I didn't know who you were, but like I heard your beautiful voice from down the hall and I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
that's very cool. So in November, you were on this incredible show called The Voice,
Yeah.
season Team Gwen. What made you pick Keith Whitley's When You Say Nothing for your blind audition?
So that's like being raised in bluegrass and country music. I remember the first time I heard that song, it was an Alison Krauss version.
Hmm.
Such an inspiration for me. And I was like, I was checking cows with my stepdad in the truck, and he
Uh-huh.
was for CD, and that song came on, and I was just like, who is this voice? I mean, I was probably like 8 years old or something. And then
Mhm.
I had the chance to see her live, and it completely changed my life as a singer and an artist. And so when it came time to pick like those options for the blind audition song, it made the most sense for me to do something that was like so true to where I come from and something that's had an impact on me as an artist. So yeah, it was just like a really natural decision. It was a song that I've just grown up singing with my family.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's really how it was birthed. It was like, yes, this makes complete sense for who I am and what I want to accomplish on the show. So
Very cool. What surprised you about your time on The Voice?
oh man, so many things. probably like I knew that there were things I wanted to grow in as an artist. One of them I never anticipated. Like, I've never been a nervous performer before. It's always been such a natural process for me. It's like I've always felt at home on the stage. I have never been more nervous than I was for the show. I mean, it was just like I started auditioning for the show in 2013, and so um, it was a long time coming. It was such a dream come true that when I got up there, I was just like, "Oh my God, I'm here! Like this is happening!" And I I don't know, like I blacked out at some point or whatever, but I can honestly say that leaving the show um, in the battle round, I felt so like I had grown so much as a performer in that I was able to harness that nervousness and stuff that like threw me off in the first round uh,
Mm-hmm.
into like this confident, you know, boss babe energy. And I'm so thankful that the show gave me that opportunity to one recognize that that's something that I like struggled with.
Mm-hmm.
And Gwen was amazing, and everybody that worked on that show was just like so amazing with helping us channel like that energy into something super powerful.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard from other people that were on The Voice, your season as well as previous seasons. People are like, they just embrace you. It's like a
Yeah,
family. All the contestants, people on your team, people that aren't on your team, but then like the cast and the crew and the producers and the band and the hair and makeup people and the wardrobe people. I'm like, it just sounds so amazing, right? Because you're from Arkansas, you're in LA by yourself in this hotel room, and you're just like trying to navigate what it's like being on The Voice, right? And then you're embraced by all these incredible people.
yeah, it was a once in a lifetime experience for sure. I know, I'm sure you hear that phrase connected to the show a lot, but it really is. It's just I never anticipated, and especially in a pandemic. Like
Right.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to not have to worry about social distancing and stuff and to be able to connect with the other artists on the show. I feel like that would be incredible because it was already incredible just doing it from a distance with masks on at mandated times. So
Mhm.
uh, yeah, it's totally a family. um, can't say enough about how grateful I am for that.
Oh, I love that. That's so amazing. So you said Gwen was pretty amazing, but what was it like working with her?
I mean, again, like, okay, you're really getting a window into how I think about music and artists and stuff. Because I also remember the first time I ever heard Gwen sing, and I
Yeah.
was driving a back road in Oklahoma as a kid, and Holla Back Girl came on, or no, it was Rich Girl came on.
Yeah.
Radio. And I just remember hearing "If I Was a Rich Girl," and I was like, "Ooh, who is this?" Like, I don't listen to country music. I don't even know who I was with, but they were listening to pop music, and just like super drawn to how different she sounds. And so going into it, they asked me, who do you want to turn for you? And I was like, Gwen, 100%. I've like always felt really drawn to her. I feel like we both stylistically, even in an aesthetic sense, think about fashion a lot. And I love that she was able to dip her toe into so many different genres, which is something I am interested in.
Mhm.
And it was just, I mean, it's so surreal to even think about the fact that Gwen has said my name before, that she's heard me sing before, um, and that she took the time to, like recognize my artistry and tell me why she turned for me in the first place and what she heard. It's just such a gift.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what I know you've probably learned so much from her, but what stands out as one of like the top things you learned from her?
Hmm. I mean, I would probably have to say like owning my artistry, I think is probably huge. Even when she sent me home, she was like, obviously, Van and Mine's Battle didn't air, but afterward, she took a solid like 5 minutes to tell me, "You're an artist. This may not be like the door that completely opened for you or the avenue that's gonna like make you shine, but I want you to know that I see you and that like you're a true artist, and just own that, continue to be confident in that. And she told me that on a few different occasions, so I would say that's probably like the thing that sticks out the most, is just that honing and owning my confidence and knowing like I was made to do this and something different to offer.
Yes. And I love it because, like you said, Gwen, she's had a career that stood the test of time, right? And you think of all of her music and you think of her with No Doubt and her stuff with Pharrell and then her recent stuff. And you're like, she has just really like owned everything, every aspect of her career, from her fashion to her songwriting to the people that she works with, right? And it's so diverse.
Totally. She's done it all.
What's your favorite Gwen Stefani song?
Mm, I don't know. I'm probably pretty attached to Rich Girl, just because it was the first one that I heard.
Uh,
So we're gonna go with that. But I also did not know how I was gonna feel about Let Me Reintroduce Myself. And I was just like, she did it again to me. Like, I listened to it and I was like, wait, what is this? I'm like trying to find like the category for it in my head. And then like she sucked me in with her interviews talking about how she's rooted in ska music, and this was like an anthem that crossed over again like with the pop ska vibe. And I'm just like, you're a genius. Like, I exposed to, that's what's so inspiring about her, is that she like demands people's attention, and then she like shares a different angle. Like, she's just so unique as an artist. So yeah, maybe that one now.
yeah, right? Because it's kind of like, yeah, when that song came out, I was like, yes, like, yes.
Yeah.
So you said that Fleetwood Mac brought you peace during quarantine. What other musicians do you admire?
Oh man, the list is a mile long, but like my foundational icons are Alison Krauss, Brandy Carlisle. Damian Jurado is an incredibly gifted singer-songwriter. Um, Phoebe Bridgers is a huge inspiration for me. Fleetwood Mac. I could go on and on. A First Aid Kit. So it's like very folky bluegrass, but an emphasis on songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely. All those people are very strong songwriters.
totally. Yeah.
Who would you most like to collaborate with?
I feel like this changes daily, but like the constant is Alison Krauss.
Yeah.
I remember like growing up singing at little folk and bluegrass festivals and gatherings and stuff, and I would like just pray and hope that someone would say, "Oh yeah, I've jammed with Allison," because the bluegrass community is so small and tight. I jammed with her like a couple years ago. She just came to this festival, and I've like always just dreamt of the day that she's gonna like play somewhere, show up somewhere that I am, and like pick her brain and and play with her. That would just be a dream come true.
And it can happen. If you manifest things and you write things down, it will happen. Once
Yes.
back to normal, we can leave our houses and, enjoy music like we used to. It's going to happen.
Yes. Manifest.
You and your battle partner, Van Andrew, became pretty good friends during the show.
Yeah.
Talk about your musical partnership and the song that you guys wrote together.
Yeah, so coming off the show, obviously we weren't allowed to spend like a ton of time together with people, with other artists, but we always had the rehearsal room that we utilized with our battle partner. So I'm so thankful for it, but I was forced to spend a lot of time with Van.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we would go in there and run our song once and then just like talk, because it's like, hey, we're doing this. This is a huge moment. Like,
Of course.
and we're in that stage together in that moment. So yeah, we just cultivated this really unexpected and amazing friendship. He's just like my brother now, and we came off the show, and I think we talked about me coming to Nashville and writing and just hanging out, and it's not too far from me, and so there was a weekend I was like, yeah, I'll come, let's do this. So drove to Nashville, and we were sitting on the couch in his house and drinking Miller High Life, and he was like, I think we should write a Christmas song. And I was like, I've never done that, but we are really drawn to the same types of music. And I'm sure that's why Gwen thought to pair us together initially anyways, because we just kind of um, connect in that way. And so we, yeah, had a lot of the same ideas lyrically. And it was just a really, really good fit. And that song, A Merry Little Christmas, came out of that writing session. And then it just kind of took off from there. He came to Arkansas and we tracked it with one of my friends in his studio in my hometown. And it was such a cool experience. And then it got picked up by American Songwriter, and they wrote a really incredible, flattering article, likening our song to a Noah Gunderson, Phoebe Bridgers collaboration, which is like the nicest thing anybody could ever say about the original piece, I think, for both of us. So it was a really, really cool opportunity. I'm so thankful for my friendship with Van for sure.
Awesome. Do you have any songs coming up with Van?
I don't. We always toss around like, oh, we need to write. We need to like do that. It was too good to not try again, and we can always do it on Zoom. I'm
Yeah.
sure. We're like we send each other original stuff that we're working on often.
Mhm.
Um, so that's where the collaboration is right now, and there's so much value in having like another set of ears and somebody that's similarly to you to kind of like help you hone in on your original stuff.
Yeah, I think the collaborating thing with is so incredible, right? Because you can sit here and write a song by yourself and play your guitar, but then sometimes when someone else looks at it, they're like, oh, but maybe you want to say this or you want to play your guitar this way. And you're right, it's so cool getting creative feedback.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. What artists or genres of music have you been listening to during quarantine?
During quarantine, I've dabbled in a lot. I've like caught myself listening to like the new Taylor Swift stuff for like hours on end, which is like very out of character for me. I mean, she's a genius. Everybody knows that. It's just like I realized, oh, I know all of these songs word for word. It's like brought me some amount of peace in quarantine and this craziness. And then, yeah, I try my best to like dip my toes into pretty much anything that's out there. Actually, today I've like been listening to, and for like the past week, the new Miley Cyrus album.
Yeah.
Another example of an incredible power female vocalist that's able to do so many different genres.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, long-winded answer, but like a little bit of everything.
I think that's important too, because right, like when you listen to other people, you're like, oh, and then I can put my spin on that kind of song.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Opens your different
of
genre.
course. If you could change anything about the music industry, what would it be and why?
Um, I think like the industry is super money driven and
Mm-hmm.
status driven. It's all about who you know.
Right.
And I thought a lot about and talked a lot about this with like my inner circle, how amazing it would be to just like go back in time and be able to get in your car with your band or your manager or whatever and your one take vinyl of a song that you really believe in and stop at radio stations. Like I think about Loretta Lynn,
Yeah.
classic idol, finding success driving to different radio stations and being like, listen to my song and tell me what you think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's so many people fighting to make their dreams happen in the music industry, and I wish that it could be like a bit more simplistic as it was
Yeah.
back, where you're just like hustling and you find your success by like asking for 3 minutes of people's time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And radio stations, because radio stations used to be so big with CD queuing up and you could never have dead air and now it's like everybody's Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, all those streaming services. So you're right, it's totally different, right? Because how can you get in front of those people and get put on? How can you
Yeah,
get in a certain Spotify playlist, or how can get in rotation at some of these radio stations?
totally. I think it's it's a testament to how powerful radio is still today. Like that is something that you see a lot of up and coming successful artists post about when it happens for the first time. Like, oh, I heard myself on the radio for the first time. It's just that it's such a powerful, timeless thing that I wish held more water these days.
Course, of course. You've covered tons of songs, everything from Travis Tritt to Fleetwood Mac, The Killers, so on and so forth. What's your favorite song to perform and why?
I mean, I would have to say probably my original stuff is my favorite to perform. I don't know if it's everybody else's favorite that's listening. That's like the um I guess the catch 22 is like it's you have to give people what they want in order to like keep attention when you're playing in a bar from 10 to 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, my favorite thing is to perform is just stuff that comes from inside of me. If I had to choose like a staple cover song, it would probably be any Fleetwood Mac, Rhiannon, Dreams, Gypsy. I just love like that Fleetwood Mac is so universal. It doesn't matter if I'm in like a country bar or in a restaurant, fancy restaurant or a yoga studio. Played I've played like live yoga studio sessions, and every time I play Fleetwood Mac, everybody's just like, "Oh yes, I love this." So,
Well, yeah, because you think of yoga and it's like, yeah, we all love Fleetwood Mac anyway. So
yeah, they're like, like downward dog. Oh yes, Fleetwood Mac. It's like it's just a universal language.
yes, I love that. If you weren't doing music, what career path would you choose and why?
So I'm actually a nanny and infant care specialist to keep the lights on. And that's something I've been doing since I graduated college in 2014. So, yeah, I have like aspirations to finish my master's in education with an emphasis on special ed. My family, I grew up like we had um, lots of kids that we were temporary and long-term foster home in
Mm-hmm.
care for kids with special needs. So yeah, I guess if I could not do music, the other thing that would keep me breathing from a passion standpoint would probably be being a special ed teacher. Or I'm like come from a family of attorneys, and I've always been like, I would never do that. And in my 20s, I've been like, I feel like I could do that. I love words enough and like reading and stuff. Could lay the hammer down in the courtroom.
I love it. You need to be a certain kind of person to be an attorney because you got to get in there and fight.
Yeah, totally.
What song do you wish you wrote and why?
There are like a million of them. Oh, the first one that comes to my mind as one that just like embodies a lot or like an experience that I've been through would probably be Scotch Street by Phoebe Bridgers.
Mm-hmm.
That's listening to this or is going to watch it afterward probably hasn't heard it unless you're like a Phoebe fan, but uh, it's just such a storytelling song, but it's so beautifully encapsulates a really natural human experience of like feeling lost, feeling um, defeated and heartbroken without saying I feel defeated and depressed and heartbroken, you know? So yeah, that's one. That's a lot, but that's one of them for sure.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Take the necessary time to figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that spans across like whatever your passion is. But find the thing that brings you joy. Figure out what you can contribute to that lane, and what makes you unique, and dig your heels into it and own who you are, regardless of what anybody else's opinions. Yeah, what their opinions are. So for me, that's the best advice I've been given as an artist is just to own it and step into that confidence and know that I have something to offer and something to say. And yeah.
Yeah. Live your truth and be confident.
Yes. There we go.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like anybody else. You just live your truth and do what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. So what advice would you give to other musicians during quarantine?
Keep going. Gonna be a light at the end of the tunnel. It's like I can only describe it, and even talking to other artists that I love and trust, it's like feel like someone has taken away our oxygen
Yeah.
in ways. It's just like we've chosen this path that is already not easy. You
Mm-hmm.
for attention and fight to be seen and to be heard. But on top of that, it's just like we can't even express ourselves, even if we wanted to. It's just not safe right now.
Yeah.
So I've been having to tell myself to just like persevere. I think a couple of days ago, I was like riding in the car. I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And knowing full well that like I literally don't know what I would do if music wasn't in the equation. But it's just like that. It's so easy to feel defeated right now as an artist. So just keep going and hone in on the things and focus on the things that you can focus on right now. So that's songwriting, picking up a new instrument, perfecting what you already know and learn more on your instrument.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now's the time to get better because all we have is time.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So everybody that's watching right now, where can people follow you on social? Plug all your social media channels.
Yes. Everything is Tori Miller Music. Tori Miller Music. It's like my handle for everything. And I've just recently like started digging my heels into TikTok. I'm like, ugh, I don't feel like I belong here. I saw something today that was like, skinny jeans are out. I'm wearing skinny jeans right now. Side parts are out. I have a side part. And then there was something else that I absolutely like I have too. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm a 27-year-old, you know, living trying to make this work for myself. But yeah, that's my most recent endeavor. But everything is Tori Miller Music.
Awesome. I have to be honest with you. I know 50-year-old people on TikTok and they happen to love it. And they're just like, oh, I'm having so much fun. I'm like, hey, whatever floats your boat, right?
Yes, exactly.
So tell people watching right now, how can people support you as a musician?
Listen to what I release in the coming months. That's like my biggest ask, I think, is just like, uh, I, I'm really, really thankful for the reception that, you know, Merry Little Christmas got. It was just like this tiny taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
And seeing that monthly listener number spike up was just like the greatest feeling because I didn't know when that was going to happen again. So that song was just such a gift. So I guess that would be the biggest way is to just listen to wherever my music is. Yeah, taking the time to tell me what you want to hear. I take all kinds of cover requests and I love doing that. Again, it just like opens me up to different perspectives. And then as it becomes safer to start playing live, I really want to get back into it as soon as possible.
Yes, hopefully soon, right?
Yeah, yeah. With this vaccine, I'm hoping.
Yes. So that's all the questions that I have for you, but you're actually going to perform for us.
Yes, I'm really excited about this. Also, forgive me, whoever's on here. I did get hit with the COVID, so I am like in my last 2 days or so, but I feel like I sound a little sick.
How are you feeling now?
I'm good. I feel like yesterday I finally turned the corner of like, you know, feeling like I was coming out of it. But I can still hear it in my voice a little bit. So I was gonna play 2 originals. And I posted this song as kind of like a whim the other day on my Instagram. Like, this is what I would imagine feeling like if I lived in the Old West and somebody tried to steal my man. And it like popped off for me. People were like loving it. So I posted that I would play it. This one's called Deadly Sin. You know what? lay it down here. The sun is going down, taking its final bow. I'm drinking all this whiskey, hope it ain't the only thing I'm shooting down. The moon is rising now. She's quenching all the doubt. That girl better be loaded, 'cause she ain't the only gunner in this town. I've made my peace with the preacher, kissed my mama goodbye. Don't know if I'll see morning. Ashley! This is what I'm talking about.
It's okay. I totally understand.
One second. I did not anticipate this being hard for me.
It's okay. You're still getting through it. It's, you're powering through, and we appreciate it.
Actually, I might grab a cough drop real quick.
Do it. We'll wait here. We'll chill. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being patient. If you guys have any questions for Tori, feel free to write them in the comments, and we will get to them shortly. Okay. You okay?
I'm good. This is for everybody. Social distance and don't give anybody COVID, because it is the worst.
Oh my gosh. I know. I felt so bad when you told me the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, no.
I know, and I've been fine, but it'll I feel like that cough will strike.
Yeah.
You expect it. All right, let's start at that chorus again. I made my peace with the preacher, kissed my mama goodnight. Don't know if I'll see morning, but tonight I'll ride. I hope I see my face on every wanted sign, 'cause nobody steals my man and gets away with their life. The slurs beneath my feet are the only steady beat. I'm either walking into death or taking back the things she stole from me. But I made my peace with the preacher, kissed my mama goodnight. Don't know if I'll see morning, but tonight I'll ride. I hope I see my face on every wanted sign, 'cause nobody steals my man and gets away with their life. She knew what she did when she faced my deadly sin. She knew what she did when she faced my deadly sin. And I made my peace with the preacher, kissed my mama goodbye. I know I won't see morning, 'cause gallows in my side. I'm glad they saw my face on every wanted sign, 'cause nobody steals my man and escapes this 45. There was a disjointed COVID version of Dead.
Live. It can happen when you're live, right?
Yeah.
Not pre-recorded. IG live and, you know, COVID times. So.
Yes. It's real. Speaking of, this one I wrote in the hotel. So it's like, this song was such a gift to me. I just started writing about like some of my experience with like religious pressures and stuff in the past. And like I said earlier, we just had so much time to think while we were shut away. And this song just kind of came out of me. It's called God Almighty. So let's try and get through this one in its entirety. That'd be awesome. Christen myself with the Spirit in my cabinet. When it hits, I'm locked and loaded and pressed on the gun. But these hands weren't meant for fighting. They've been still, so the devil's trying to find some work for this flesh to give in to. Take me homeward, cross the threshold, and lift this house from its roots. God Almighty couldn't stop me from being one with you. Oh, I'm baptized, going under. I see your shadow, treading water, waiting on me. I'm coming up for air. Take me homeward, cross the threshold, and lift this house from its roots. God Almighty couldn't stop me from being one with you. I'll sanctify myself with every taste of your lips. Leave my carnage at the door. We're made for such a time as this. So take me homeward, cross the threshold, and lift this house from its roots. God Almighty couldn't stop me from being one with you. And God Almighty couldn't stop me from being one with you. We did it!
Guys, Tori, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you performing. I know it's kind of hard with that cough, but we definitely appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you letting me come on. That was a treat.
Got some questions, so I'm just scrolling up in the chat. Where would you like to perform next?
Anywhere. Next, I'm actually doing the show in Fayetteville, Arkansas. If there's anybody from Fayetteville on here, on March 12th at George's Majestic Lounge, which is one of my favorite places to play. And I get to do it with Liam St. John from season 19 of The Voice as well.
Very. So not one person from The Voice, but two people from The Voice. Very.
one of our other friends to come too, so it'll be a party.
Very cool. That's March 12th, you said?
Yeah.
Awesome. Have you been able to practice play as much recently because of COVID?
Personally, I feel like I've been trying my best to stay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I feel like I think what we touched on this earlier, COVID's given us the gift of time.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing coming off the show. I feel like we've definitely been spending a lot of time, like for this show coming up, for example. Of course, it's going to be about a sixth of the audience size that's normally permitted in the venue, but that's what's safe. But we have an opportunity to curate a 2-hour show for people. And so, yeah, it's been like the gift of time to be able to really curate the perfect set.
Of course. So, where you're having the show, is this going to be your first show since COVID hit?
I've played like a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
on the out on the patio.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this will be like the first venue ticketed show since coming off of the show. So
Oh, wow. Well, guys, if you're in Arkansas, please make the trip, buy the tickets, go to Tori and Liam.
yes.
I'm looking to see if there's any other things in here. Oh, she meant while you had COVID, how has that affected your singing rehearsal?
Oh, okay. Not the general COVID. My COVID.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been a struggle. And that's like one of the worst feelings ever, is to feel like you're out of control.
Yeah.
That moment where I had to stop singing, it's just like, like that's not at all what I want or desire, but my body is telling me like, nope,
Right.
do it right now. So it's definitely been a struggle. But I don't know. I'm always open to the challenge, and sometimes channeling that allergy voice, that rasp that comes along with being sick, I'm like, bring it on. Add some more texture to the vocal. So
Right? You're like, where did that come from?
yeah, I didn't know I had that growl.
Exactly. Where do you see your career in 5 years?
In 5 years, I'd love to be touring.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even mean that in the sense of selling out venues and stuff. I literally just would love to be totally like financially stable, playing music alone.
Yeah.
That'd be like the dream, is to just be on the road. I got like a tiny taste of that in college on a music scholarship traveling, and there's just nothing like it. And so that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. So in 5 years, I'm like, let's just be traveling and COVID be like a thing of the past, and making enough money to get to the next place.
Because then all you're really doing is traveling and performing and traveling and performing and
Totally.
stuff.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully have like, my dream is to be like the Stapletons, where I just like have a road family. My kids are just like born and bred on the bus. That's
Yeah. I love it. It's so fun. So guys, if you have any last minute questions for Tori, please feel free to put them in the chat below. Tori, I just want to say thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. When you told me you weren't feeling well the other day, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh, well, if we have to reschedule, like we could do it. But you like wanted to come in, power through. And I appreciate you doing that, because, I feel so bad. Like you're coughing, and I want you to get better soon.
gosh, I like sound a lot worse than I feel now. But hopefully it can be, even people that watch this afterward, hopefully it can just be a testament to like, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it affects all of you, no matter, what age we are. COVID waits for no one. So but yeah, I sound so much worse than I feel, and I've loved being on your show, and appreciate you reaching out and asking me.
Aw, thank you. You're so wonderful. Please keep us posted when you have additional shows coming up, as well as any live streams. I mean, I know you're pretty good at that. and posting a lot of stuff on Instagram. But like I said, thank you so much for coming on my show. Guys, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Tori Miller and her journey, her musical journey. And if you don't follow me, please follow me. I'm Ashley Live. This is Vibin with Ashley Live, and I have incredible musicians just like Tori all the time on my show.
Support.
Yes. So thank you guys. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you. Thank you, Liza, Sosie, Colette. We appreciate you coming in the room. And if there's nothing else, have a wonderful evening, everybody.
You too, Ashley. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tori. Get well soon, okay?
Thank you. I will.
Okay. Have a good night. Bye-bye.